Hello everyone, I have a guest astrologer on today. He has a really great YouTube channel called Exotic Astrology. His name is Babajit Alita, and he first started his journey when he, many years ago, would go to different spiritual communities and would learn from different sadhus and spiritual priests and teachers about the Vedas. So he's been on a journey for a long time. He's been doing astrology consultations for the last 8 to 10 years. And he also deals with not only astrology, but numerology and some palmistry as well. His goal is to not only just do consultations for people, but his goal is to make people discover, help people discover the better versions of themselves. So I want to thank you guys for listening into this interview, and I hope you enjoy this. And definitely check out his channel. He's got about 87,000 subscribers at this point, but he has a really great channel, has a lot of depth of knowledge. And I'll leave the link in the description box below. And definitely, guys, let me know if you guys like it this way, you want me to continue this way, hit that like button. Let me know in the comments below. All right, let's go into the interview. I hope you guys enjoy this. For relationships, do you always attract the opposite sign? Or is it more likely to deal with the elements in your chart that makes the difference in a relationship when you attract somebody?
People, they don't necessarily always attract the opposites. So like you will hear people say, oh, all the Aries will be attracted to Libra. Well, maybe not. Neither will it always work that all the Aries are attracted to other Aries. Okay. So it actually is, it will be decided by the overall energies in your chart, because in Vedic astrology, we have the sun sign, we have the moon sign, and we have like 7 other planets, including Rahu and Ketu. So either ways, whichever form of astrology we need to discuss, we always have many planets, 7, 8, 9, 10 planets. Some systems have like many planets. So overall, ultimately, the chart will decide. So for example, if a person has too many planets in fire signs, like fire signs are Aries, then we have Leo, and then Sagittarius. So then sometimes the person may feel that he or she is very good at initiating things, so starting projects. But then if the person does not have prominent planets in earth signs like Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, the person will feel, oh yeah, I can kickstart things, but I tend to give it up after some time. Now this is a trait. So then this person, if he's a man, he may want to find a girl who has, like, the earthy traits more, or he may be unconsciously attracted to a girl who has earthy traits, who has a prominent moon in Taurus, or moon in Capricorn, or a moon in Virgo. He will be unconsciously, or rather subconsciously attracted, because he will see that he makes a decision, hey, let's go here, and then the girl will say, okay, we are here now, we can do this, now we can do that. So if he goes out with her as a friend, then he will certainly feel that what I am missing in myself, that I find in this girl. Okay. And it will be very subconscious. He won't realize. Same is with the girl. If the girl has too many planets in, I would say, fire signs, then she can have considerably very high masculine traits, and then she can be attracted to a man who is a bit feminine, because then she feels complete, that she can experience both the energies. So I would say it depends on where your sun is placed, where your moon is placed, your ascendant lord is placed, and the overall chart. And at the end, the second factor is, what are you looking for? So for example, if a person has prominent planets in the trines, like for example, we know trines are the 5th and the 9th houses. So if there are watery planets, like a person has moon in the 5th house or Venus in the 9th house, then the person is looking for more Venusian or moon-like energy in the spouse, because that then the person feels kind of complete, because the Lagna, the ascendant, the first house is who the person is. So if a person has moon in the first house, he himself will be very emotional. And if a man has moon in the fifth house, then he's likely to get attracted to a lady who has moon in the first house, because he has moon in the fifth, so he's looking for ladies who have a prominent moons, and planet in the ascendant makes it very prominent. So if a lady has moon in the first and a man has moon in the fifth, then you may get attracted to that person. So I would say it's not a black and white answer, that Taurus will always attract Libra, but it depends on who the person is and what the person is looking. And
that when it comes to meeting your marriage partner, is there going to be repeating patterns? Because obviously nowadays you have people that are married once or twice or three times. So is it going to be a very similar scenario? From what I've noticed from the charts that I've done, that it seems like when the people tell me about the what happens with when they meet their partner, the particular their marriage partner, it seems to be a very similar scenario. Why is that the case, or do you see that as well with your experience?
so we have dashas, like in Western astrology, there are transits of planets. In Vedic astrology, we have something called as Mahadasha. Mahadasha, so a dasha is like a time period of a planet. So, for example, Venus dasha is for 20 years. And there are three levels of dashas. One is Mahadasha. Maha is like great or big. So, Venus Mahadasha is for 20 years. For everybody, it will be 20 years. And then within that, you have sub periods. So, that is a major period. And within that, you have sub periods like Mercury, for example. So Mercury, inside Venus, you will have Mercury. That will be like 2.5 years approx. So now the thing is, if if you if you have the Mahadasha of a planet, so suppose you are running Venus Mahadasha, and Venus is somehow indicating marriage in your chart. Now, how he does it, that is a different question. But so, let's assume he does indicate marriage. And now let's assume in your chart you have like three other planets which also indicate marriage. Because for critical events like marriage, which does not happen every other day, we at least need 2 or 3 planets indicating that strongly to happen in your life. So now, if a person is running the major period of Venus, and then first sub period is again of Venus. So it is Venus, 3.5 years. Then the person has Venus Sun, Venus Moon. So now let's assume Moon is a planet which is also positive for marriage. So then when Venus Moon comes after 4.5, 5 years of the start of Venus Mahadasha, the person may meet somebody similar, may meet somebody with whom he or she may want to get married. Now, suppose let's take a scenario where after Moon there is Mars Dasha and the person is unfortunately divorced. Okay. So then after Mars there is Rahu and then there is Jupiter. So let's assume in Jupiter again there is a combination for marriage. Now, because Jupiter and Moon are both natural benefics, so there will be some similarities in the cultural upbringing, similar language, similar values, similar age. Okay. So then you can say, oh, this person is quite similar. So if you are from America, the person you met in Moon can also be an American or a Canadian or a Britisher or somebody who speaks very good English. And in Jupiter also, the person could be a Englishman. Okay. So then you can say it's similar. But now suppose the person has no marriage combination in Jupiter, and after Jupiter Dasha, we have Saturn Antar Dasha, which comes. Now, Saturn is not a natural benefic like Jupiter and Moon. It is a natural malefic. So if Saturn is now indicating, it will indicate people who are from different caste, creed, community, religion, different food habits, different clothing. Then you will say, oh, my first husband was American, the second was from Iran or from India or from some other place. So then it will be different. And if it is Mercury, the person can be younger than you in age. So the planet imparts the natural characteristics to the person. So for example, Mercury represents people who are young. So if Mercury is in your ninth house, for example, and you go to a university, you will see you and your professor, there you will not have much age difference, because that person will be very young compared to the other professors. Not that he's younger than you. Okay. And if you go to a college in Saturn, when Saturn is in your ninth, then that professor will be very old. Like, if other professors are in their 40s, 50s, this person will be in your 60s. So that's how it will be. So I would say it depends on the natural signification of the planets. And if the planets who are bringing the spouse are natural benefics like Jupiter, Moon, Mercury, Venus, then you will feel that, oh yeah, I'm all the time I'm meeting Americans. Okay. But suppose in your chart you only have marriage possibility in the malefics like Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu, then you will always feel, oh, I never attract Americans, I always attract non-Americans. Okay. And sometimes people have, okay, in their chart, Mercury, Venus, and Moon are indicating marriage, and Saturn, Rahu, Ketu is not indicating. So the the man may think, oh, all my partners are always been Americans, or if only Saturn, Rahu, Ketu indicates, then the person will think, oh, I never meet people from my community. It's always some other religion. But mostly it can be mixed. So for people, it can be like, okay, Jupiter, Mercury indicates, and Saturn, Ketu indicates. So depending on which dasha you are running, you may meet a person who is similar to your culture or different. Okay, so I would say it would depend on that. But yeah, one thing is for sure, uh, irrespective of which dasha you will run, you have a horoscope which is static. It does not change. The dashas will keep changing. The dashas will keep you. They will give you new focus areas, but your inherent chart will not change. So as I said before, if a person has moon in the fifth house, so then even if moon dasha is indicating that he will have a girlfriend, a relationship, so then he will be attracted to women who have moon or Venus in their first house. So that is how you can. So that will not change, even if the dashas are different, but that will not change. Okay, so the chart kind of tells you what kind of people you are inherently attracted to, and the dashas will tell you the cultural similarities. Because if a man has moon in the fifth, but suppose Saturn is indicating that he will have a wife, so then he will attract a lady during his Saturn dasha who will have a prominent moon but will be elder to him. Okay. So that is how it will play out. And if it is Mercury, Mercury dasha is indicating, so he will attract a girl in Mercury dasha who also has a prominent moon, but because it is Mercury, she will be very younger to him. She could be like 10 years younger. So that's how you will know.
See attraction, like obviously the fifth house is the house of romance, but then the seventh house is the house that you would, look at for marriage. So you're obviously talking about a lot about the fifth house. So for the initial relationship, the fifth house would be the playing a factor, but after you're dating that person, then you would look at the seventh house or the ninth house, depending on if there was a divorce or marriage and so forth. Is that the
Always debated by the astrologers. Like they say, the first marriage is seventh house, then the second marriage is the ninth house because it's third from the seventh. But the problem with that idea is, suppose I use the same logic for children. So the first child is my fifth house. Then you say, okay, so the second child will be the sibling of the first child. So sibling is the third. So third from the fifth, if you go five, six, seven, it is like seventh house. So does it mean that if I have the second child, my marriage house will again open up? Will I have a divorce and will I remarry somebody? Well, I have practically not seen that working. So in my experience, I have always seen bang on. If it is the first marriage or 10th marriage, I don't care which marriage it is, the number, but anytime a planet is indicating the second house or the seventh house or the 11th house, then the marriage takes place. It doesn't matter it is the first or the third or fifth marriage. Now, of course, that is debatable. What brought which planet brings the spouse and all, so you can say the fifth house, sometimes the third house, sometimes the eighth house, the 12th house can bring in some love romance in your life. But for marriage, it is very, very, very clear. There is no doubt on it. The second house is the house of family, and the seventh house is the house of marriage. It is like the prime house of marriage. It is the most important house. And the 11th house, of course, because it is the house of fulfillment of desire. And sometimes what happens, a person has a very strong fifth house, but a person has a very bad second house and a very bad seventh house. So then what happens is the person has a very good love life, romantic life, but then the moment he is thinking of marriage, something or the other is going wrong in his life. So if the seventh lord is in debility, then you don't you kind of feel you cannot be a good husband or a good wife. Somehow I've seen people feel this inherently. They feel, oh, maybe what if that person marries somebody else after marrying me, then what will happen to me? So the planetary dignity will show your confidence. So if the seventh lord is badly placed, you lack confidence in yourself, not for the institution of marriage. Or if the second lord is badly placed, then you may get married, but you will always kind of feel, that, oh yeah, he's there, I am there, she's there, but you will not feel like a family for some reason. You will feel you are married, but you will not feel like a family. It's bizarre sometimes, because people can have very weird combinations. Like they can have a strong fifth house, a strong seventh house, and a bad second house. Then they feel, now if the fifth and the second are good, then you will have, oh, good love life, good family life. But somehow when you both of you are sitting together, if the seventh house is not good, you'll feel, oh, why am I married to this person? But then because the second house is good, you will have good family relations with in-laws, with children, and all this. You will feel, I have a family. Okay. So people nowadays, they will not have they will not have, like, the seventh house is excellent and the second house is like terrible. It won't be like that. You will always see some people have some problems in their fifth house. They have something good in their seventh, some problem in the second, so it is always like a mixture, and that is what you have to kind of decode and see. uh, but if the question is only of relationships, then the fifth house, eighth house, and the 12th house, of course. And then for marriage, it's clear, the second, seventh, and 11th. And among the three, if even two are good, I have seen the marriage survives. If out of three, two of them are very badly placed, then I have seen one of the two cases where either they get separated or they are just married formally and there's no relationship. So it's like officially they are married, but but they lack feelings. There is no connection, and it's just like a formality. So yeah, that's how your date of birth also we can see a lot of things here. So for example, if somebody has the number 2 and 6 and 7 in their date of birth, then the person may be more interested in the love life, love romance. If a person has the number 3, then the person is more interested in family. So then if a person has number 3, so suppose somebody is born on 1st of March, for example, then even if the horoscope is bit not supporting the marriage, the person will still stay married, because uh, the date of birth is indicating this person wants to have a family. But if the person has a lot of, like 267, like the person is born on 26 July, or the person is born on 6 July 1992, something like that. Then the person is very much emotion driven, he or she is like, wanting love, attention, like something new all the time. And then if the chart is a bit bad, then it's like fire. It's like, two fires are coming and it's like a blast. Then there is divorce. Okay. So we use astrology and also numerology. By that we know. And also in numerology, the number 7 is like a glue. Glue is something which keeps two people together. So if somebody has 7 in their date of birth, they will refrain from breaking the marriage. They may not want a family, but they will think 10 times before breaking not only the spouse relationship, anything, like their friends or colleagues, so then you know that they want to maintain long-term relationships, whoever has 7 in their date of birth. And
Would the
then
7 also be as far as like if you add it up for a life path? Like would that be the
the
same kind
destiny
of
number, yes.
yes, okay. All
If
right,
you
just
add the date of birth, or it could be your basic number also. Like if you are born on 7th or 25th or 16th, even then it can apply. So if 7 is there, and the person is asking, will there be separation? Then I would say, well, there could be separation or there could not be, but you certainly don't want to be separated. And most of the times the person says yes. And what you will also see, if a person has 7, even if they are divorced, they will still be good friends with their ex-wife. Or it could sometimes be problem also, because they may be good friends with their ex-girlfriends also. This is so whenever I see the number 7, and if sometimes a man is asking me, oh, this is the lady's chart, I'm dating her from like last 2 years, I want to get married, would you recommend? So then if I see that the married life is very good, then I'm like happy, because then I see that she will maintain the marriage. But if the married life is like on and off sometimes, then there is a danger that she might contact her ex-boyfriend or ex-boyfriends. And then there could be some further problems. So I would say, yeah, it depends. So if 7 is there and it is there in a good way, if astrology supports, it is great, it's thumbs up. And if astrology is indicating too many affairs, then the number 7 can wreak havoc, because whoever has 7, somehow people don't want to leave them for some reason. So, so it's like nobody's wanting to leave you. Even if they have left you, they are still thinking about you. So it is a bit problematic for the husband or for the wife. For that person, it's great, but for the spouse, it's problematic. So when there is 7, I'm like, I need to check the astrology chart in a very serious way, because it can go either ways. And if the person has 2 or 6, as I said, then if there is indication of separation or divorce, it is like 100% guaranteed. Because for them it is like, anything goes bad, they are like, I don't want this. So, and if number 3 is there in the date of birth, then this person is like, no, I took the vow of marriage and I should be married. And even if this person has attraction for some other person, the person is able to control that, because 3 is the number of morals in numerology. And also in astrology, if somebody has a strong 5th house or a strong Jupiter, they have a greater probability to say no to temptations. Okay. So I guess it's a jugglery of both the sciences.
you have a very strong attraction to them, like to the point where you feel like you met them in a past life, like where you know them when you first meet them. Why is that in the chart or in numerology? What can cause that? What can cause that very strong awareness?
Seen is a person. So suppose there's a man and he meets a girl, and he's like, when he meets her, he feels, oh, I know this person from many lifetimes, okay? And this is not the first time I have met this person. And this can hold true for general people also, not only love relationships. It could be with any normal person. You meet that person and suddenly you feel, oh, it feels I know you from long time, no? So for that, we need to check like two planets, especially. We need to check the sun, because the sun in Vedic astrology is the natural Atma Karaka. It is the significator of the soul. So if a man has sun in a particular sign, and he meets a girl who also has a similar placement of the sun, or in trines to the boy's sun. So, for example, if the boy has sun in Aries, so trines to that is Leo and Sagittarius. So, if the girl will have sun in Leo or Sagittarius, or even in Aries, then he can get a feeling that I know this person from before. But along with that, if the person has, like, moon in fifth house, as I said, and then that girl also has moon in first house. So then he's like, oh, I am also attracted to this person, and I also know this person. And sometimes in the chart, the Atma Karaka is not the sun, because the Atma Karaka is the planet with the highest degree. So your Venus may be like, in 25 degrees. So your Venus is the Atma Karaka. So if your Venus and her Venus is in trines to each other, you may feel you may feel that you know this person from a very long time. And in numerology, especially in numerology also, we have dashas, which means some numbers get activated, added in your date of birth. So if the number 7 is activated, because the number 7 in numerology shows past life connections, and primarily it shows past life connections where that person has to give you something good in return. 7 is the number of luck and getting good things from others for free. Okay. So if you meet somebody when you have numerology 7, like it is running in your time period, you may stay with them or may not, but you won't be able to forget them for this lifetime. That's not possible because this person is not, you are not meeting this person for the first time. This person came to give you like very strong lessons, very important teachings, and to improve you as a person. You might have given some loan or something to that person in the previous life and they didn't pay you back. So this life they have come to pay you the loan back with interest.
7. So like, let's say both people have a life path 7. They meet each other. So you're
Yeah.
saying both of them, that would be an awareness for both of them that, okay, wow, there is a past life connection. Or if the person
Yes.
has 7 somewhere in their in their numerology, whether that be the month that they
Yeah,
were
it
born,
could be
they
both.
were born, the
Yeah,
year. Okay.
it could be both. So for example, if somebody just has 7, he's born in July, and he meets a girl who is born on the 7th, for example, then also it will be very strong because now both of them have 7, not just one. So both will give something to each other, both. And if somebody has destiny 7, like you add everything, it's 7. And for the girl also, if you get 7, it's like, I mean, it's like you guys were destined to be together. Now you may stay together or not, that's a separate discussion. But you are not meeting this person for the first time. Also, you may meet them again in this lifetime. Or in your next lifetimes, you will meet this person. Because there are some numbers in numerology which show a lot of karmic, how do I say, lot of karmic influences. Like for example, you will see people whose mother father get divorced, especially in the West. You will see it's very frequent, and now in India also it's happening. But you will see some of their children, they are okay with it. They're like, okay, my parents got divorced, that's fine. But for some people, they're like, oh, my parents got divorced, it was very traumatic, it was, I couldn't imagine they will separate and all this. So why does that happen? Because if you have number 3 in your date of birth, anything good or bad that happens in the family will affect you very much. You will go crazy, you will lose your mind if something goes wrong. And if something good happens, oh, your brother is getting married, your sister is having children. Oh, wow, you're so happy. You are happy. But if there is no 3, then you're like, okay, fine, very good. Good luck to my brother and sister, my parents, they're having, that's great, good for them. You are also happy, but you behave normally, it's like not an event in your life, so why should I bother? But if somebody has number 3, then they feel it's happening to them. Whatever is happening to their family is happening to them. So if their brother is getting married, they're equally happy or sometimes even more happy than the brother, sometimes. So they will be very much involved with the family. So if a man has number 3 and he's married, then he will be also very much involved with the in-laws. Now again, that could be good or bad. So if a person does not have 3 and the in-laws come and insult that person, hey, what are you doing? This is not correct. So then he will feel bad, but he will be least bothered. Within like 2-3 days, he's like, oh, I've forgotten it. But then if you have 3, oh, how can my father-in-law say like this to me? How can my mother-in-law say this to me? I don't like this. So, and even in astrology, you can see if a person has a very strong moon, the interactions with the family is very important. A strong Jupiter is very important. Jupiter is the significator of the family. So if a person has Jupiter in the 1st, 5th, or 9th, family is very, very, very important to them. For them, everything is like a family. Okay. And added to that, if they have number 3, it's like a double whammy. It's like the person is too much thinking what my father is doing, what is his health, what my mother is doing, what he is doing, she's doing. So that's how it is, depending on the chart and depending on the date of birth, we can tell if the person has karmic relationship. And the more the karma, and especially if both of them have complementary negative numbers, then my God, it is like one hell of a karmic baggage. For example, if a man has the number 8, like in numerology, number 8 and 4 are the numbers of trouble, universal trouble. So if a man has number 8 one time, single 8, and then he does not have 4, but now the girl is born in April, so she has 4, and then both meet each other. It's like it is like a roller coaster. because because the man is not having the 4 energy which she's bringing. Now 4 is like all problems of life. 4 is like, you want to go to the shop, you go and they'll say, oh, we don't have this, come tomorrow. So it's like you need a second attempt on this. So then he will be frustrated. Hey, what the heck is going on in my life? Why do I need to do everything twice? Why? Because that's the karma of the girl. And then number 8 is the number of defamation or not getting respect in society or being bullied or being treated like an unwanted person. So then this lady doesn't have 8, she only has 4. So she's used to the 4 energy, but she's not used to getting disrespected all the time. So then she gets married and she goes to the in-laws in India, especially. And then she sees, oh, nobody is respecting my husband. So nobody respects me. And she's like, what? I can't stay here. So So, or the husband is not getting promotions because it's number 8, and 8 is like delaying everything. Okay, your colleague will get promoted to in 3 years. You will get promoted in like 5 years. So then she will feel, hey, your colleague got promoted. Why did you not get promoted? Okay, so it's like a roller coaster. Both are giving their both are giving each other their problems. Okay. And on the other hand, if there are some good numbers, they can also help. So for example, if a man has number 3 and the lady has number 7, so that is like fantastic, it is like brilliant, because then the man will be very much focused on the family, in-laws and all this, and because the lady has 7, the man will gain luck through the lady also.
House, they tend to criticize their partners, like, okay, I
Rahu
think
in 7.
yeah, no, Venus in the 7th.
Oh, I
I think
see.
that the partner will criticize the other partner, like, well, you need to, like, lose weight, or like they criticize their features, or they're saying, like, you need to do this, you do that, you know maybe you need to do this with yourself. There's a constant, like, nitpicking about that
Yeah,
part. I've
it,
seen.
it will always be. You are very right.
Yeah.
Because Venus is fine. You know what is fine? Fine dining, fine bed. Like this is my mobile. This mobile is maybe Mercury. But now if I throw this mobile and I buy an iPhone, then that iPhone is not Mercury anymore. Then that becomes Venus. So Venus is the only planet which can become any other planet. Your Mercury can never become Venus. It's impossible. But Venus can become Mercury. Venus can become anybody. Like Venus can also become the moon. It's like the mother who is always posting the kids' photos in Instagram. She's actually Venus. So if a person is drinking alcohol, alcohol comes under Saturn, but he's drinking international, like branded. So he's experiencing Venus. A, a health freak is taking orange juice. That is like Mercury. But you add chia seeds, you add, flax seed, you add avocado, you add almond milk, you add what was that? Stevia. Then that becomes, and that's Venus. It's no more Mercury. I mean, so you want to take a car, you go from one place to the other. You buy a Mercedes, that's Venus. I mean, that's not car anymore. Car is anyways Venus, but here you are spending like $80,000 to buy a vehicle, and that's Venus. This glass of water I have, this is the moon. But I go to the German store nearby and I get this, what is that sparkling water? It's like the soda is coming out, it's like branded and sealed. Then the water becomes Venus. So, in fact, there was one astrologer, his class I was attending one day. He actually said, people in astrology, they keep debating who is the most important planet, who is the boss of all planets. They say, oh, maybe it's the sun because he's the king. They say it's Rahu. Some say it is, Mars, whatever, Jupiter. I said, no, Venus is the king. Because he's the only damn planet which can which can behave like every other planet and still be as if he's not Venus. Okay, so but like a mother who is always taking photos of her baby and uploading in Instagram, people what will they say? Oh, you're such a nice mother, you're such a caring mother. But she is actually behaving like Venus, which is, showbiz, stardom, and all this. So Venus is very smart because he can behave like any other planet. He's like salt. When salt is there, you will not know. So yeah, Venus is the most important planet in my opinion in like Kali Yuga, in this Kali Yuga as per the Vedic scriptures, because people are having everything. The only thing they don't have is Venus. So when people say they don't have this, they don't actually mean they don't have that. They mean they don't have Venus in that form. Like, you meet some boy who is like 21, 22 years old. You tell him in India, oh, hey, it's time for you to get married. The father, mother says, we'll search for some girls. And you talk to him after 5 years when he's 28, and he will say, oh no, my mother, father couldn't find any girl. And then you call the mother and ask, hey, auntie, did you not find a girl? Said, oh, we found 500 girls, but he rejected everybody because he didn't like the appearance. So basically, he's not rejecting girls, he's rejecting girls who are not like Venus. Okay. So people say, I don't have money to buy a car. Now you can always buy a car like $2,000-3,000, some second-hand car you can buy. But what you will say? No, I don't have money to buy a car, because you want to buy a car which is like $40,000-50,000. So everybody wants Venus. They claim to want other things, but actually they want Venus, because Venus is the prime, it's the most shining planet in the sky. So everybody is wanting that shine. And why that is happening these days more and more? Because people are not having anything higher. They don't have any spiritual goals, spiritual wisdom. And if you, this is the last thing maybe I'll tell about Venus, which is very interesting. If you read in our Vedic tradition, there are, different planetary systems. Like the one we are situated currently, where the Earth is, that is the seventh planetary system. It is called as Bhuloka. So above that, above the Bhuloka, there is Bhuvarloka. Then there is Swargaloka. So the Swargaloka and above one or two Swargaloka, and Swargaloka especially is known as the heavenly planets. Okay. And every planet is actually signifying or ruling some planetary system. So the planet Venus represents the Swargaloka, the heavenly realms. So when people say in movies and novels that when you fall in love, you feel like you are in heaven, that's actually correct. Because the person is physically in the Bhuloka, but mentally he's in the Swargaloka. But then above Swargaloka, there is Maharloka, and there are different planetary systems, Jnanaloka, Tapaloka, and the topmost planetary system is Satyaloka. That is ruled by Jupiter. So anybody who wants to go beyond the Venusian influences, there is only one way you can do it, and that is through going in the domain of Jupiter. That does not mean you have to leave everything and run to the forest. No, it doesn't mean that. It means you have the necessary things that are required in your life. You have a good wife, children, car, husband, good house. You have everything, nothing wrong with it. But your focus should be to elevate your consciousness spiritually, and then luxuries are there or not there, it won't matter for you.
Let's say the people have a really bad chart, but one of the partners has a very good Jupiter. Would that have the ability to save a marriage?
If now when you say a bad marriage, it depends to what degree. So for
So
example,
let's say there's a bad sixth house, a bad second house, a bad seventh house.
oh, then that is
But
like extreme case.
the other partner has a good Jupiter, very good Jupiter, like a very exalted Jupiter, and they have a good second house, but their seventh house not so good. But if it has a good Jupiter, at least a good Jupiter, could that still potentially save a marriage?
Like the glue. So when see, I'll tell you what Jupiter is. People think Jupiter will automatically make things rosy for them. That's not the case actually. Jupiter, what it does is it tells it it imbibes some values in you. Like for example, if your spouse is doing something wrong, wrong means not immoral, but she's doing some mistake, she's doing it again and again, 1, 2, 3 times, then Jupiter will be like, if the husband has a strong Jupiter, he will be able to forgive this person because he will understand that, oh, she has some flaws, but I also have flaws. She's also tolerating my flaws. So why can't I tolerate her flaws? Of course, that doesn't mean he will sit without doing anything. He will convey her and then he will be patient. Yeah, she will improve over time. This area is not good, whatever. So he gives you forgiveness, he gives you patience and all this. But that will only help you to some extent if you have a decent good karma for marriage, which means if your marital karma is extreme, it's like very negative, then no matter how much forgiveness is there, so then what will happen if a person has a very bad marriage karma but a very strong Jupiter? So then also the person will be divorced, but the person will take that as a lesson in his life. And he will not hold grudges against the wife. He will not harbor hatred. He will not harbor animosity. He will not speak badly against the wife once she leaves or she departs. He will say, oh, yeah, we tried our best, but it didn't work. So we went on our roads. He will take everything, not only marriage, even if the career is bad. Let's say marriage is fantastic, Jupiter is fantastic, career is terrible. So then also whatever money he gets, he will be like, okay, let me try to stay within this. I won't have a big mansion. So Jupiter, a good Jupiter, what is the sign that a person has a good Jupiter? The person can accept things in life. People say, oh, his Jupiter is good, he will have great life, great this, great that. Well, not necessarily. But one thing will be for sure. This is a very big shortcut. I don't need to see your horoscope. I don't need to see anything. If there are things which you can accept, which are beyond your control, then your Jupiter is very strong. Because Jupiter is the belief that there is some higher power working. There is the God, universe, my karma. So then you kind of trust them. Even if you don't have one hand, you are born with only one hand. If your Jupiter is very strong, you will never curse God, not one day. You will never ask God, even one day, that why did you made me like this? And if you have a bad Jupiter, you are a you are a multi-millionaire, you have a yacht and you are in, Las Vegas somewhere playing casino. And then you are like, oh God, only if you made me a billionaire. Because you can't accept. You have zero power to accept that you are not a billionaire. You may have 200, 300 million. But you believe, oh, maybe I can go at max up to 500 million. I'm still way far than becoming a billionaire. It's just half. Even if I work for the next 500 years, I will still make it to 500 million. I will never make it to 1,000 million. So you are cursing God all the time, cursing destiny, cursing yourself, cursing your spouse, cursing everybody. So that's the easiest way to see. That is like the live. Your chart is live. Okay, it's not recorded. It's live. It's like YouTube live session. It's happening. You can see that person. Okay, so anytime they have some problem, you will see they will try their best, but they will make peace with it. If it's not working, they understand. Maybe God has some other plans, or it's not there in my destiny. If it's not there, how can I claim that, right? But a person with a bad Jupiter will be very much obsessed with, controlling and, criticizing, trying to force things, because he believes he is God. So it is very frustrating, no, for a person who believes he is God, because God means done. Just you do this and it's done. But it doesn't work like that. So then he's very frustrated. So the lower your Jupiter is, the lower is your conception of God. The higher your Jupiter is, the higher is the conception of God. So then you can accept things because maybe God has a better plan, not in terms of religious thing, but you will kind of make peace with it. Even if they are atheistic, I've seen people, atheists with good Jupiter. Yeah, I failed in the exam. Yeah, maybe I should have studied better. I'll try next time. It's like that. So generally they will want to not blame everybody all the time. They may blame themselves sometimes, but that is not on a very derogatory sense, that, oh, I am like this, I am like that, but they will take responsibility. So Jupiter, a good Jupiter is basically an ideal human being, in short.
Final thoughts like that you would like to add to the relationship or remedies or anything like that could be helpful to people?
So one last thing I would like to add from numerology. This is very important. I have seen this always working, especially with two numbers, with 4 and 5. This is very important. So if a person has number 4 in the date of birth, it is good if the other person also has 4, because the number 4 always comes with problems and troubles. Like recently, one of my friend was here. He has lot of 4s in his date of birth. And then I was making something for him for eating, some Indian dish. And it's a dish which I've been making from last 20 years. And it has from last 4 or 5 years, I'm like, yeah, just make it and it's done. Because I have gained so much expertise because I've been making it from last 2 decades. Who wouldn't get that expertise? But then he came, and then you have to make it and keep it overnight and do the remaining the next day. And when he came, I I opened the bowl and I saw, my God, what the heck is this? This is completely crazy. So when you have a lot of force in your date of birth, you are somehow, things will not happen in the first attempt. So then I had to make it again and I had to tell him I will feed you the next day. So now if the man has this and the girl doesn't, then the girl will feel, "Oh, what is going on in my life? Always problems after meeting this person." But if she already has 4, it's like, oh, it's normal. Oh, they rejected your application. Mine is rejected 5 times. Send again. It's only 2 times, man. I'm rejected 5 times already. Chill. Life's good. Apply. It will happen. So she can't, then if she has 4, she'll be okay with it. She'll be like, yeah, okay. 4 people means there sometimes the nose is blocked, sometimes this is blocked, sometimes the eye is not working, sometimes the ear is not working, sometimes the police is behind you, sometimes the government is behind you. Always somebody is behind you for some problem or the other. So then you are fine with it. And similarly is with number 5. Number 5 is the number of savings. Okay. People who have too many 5, they are kind of miserly. So now, if the man has like 5, some is born on 5th of May 1955, my God, 4 5s. He wants to save every cent, forget dollar or every penny actually, not even cent. And then he's married to a girl. This girl has number 6 and number 4. That's it. Within 48 hours, they'll separate. Because whoever has number 6 is obsessed with luxuries. not obsessed, but the person wants, luxury, this, that, like for a normal person, you go to their house, it will be like very normal. It's like a normal house. You go to somebody who has six, my God, their house will be like very well decorated, lot of paintings will be there, music will be there, there will be fragrance, there will be nice food, there will be, you will feel like, wow, this is like a hotel. And then the girl will say, oh, we'll go to this, Switzerland, we'll go to this five-star hotel and we'll stay there. And this fellow, born on 5th of May, he's like, I mean, honeymoon, that's out of question. I have to spend like, $10,000. How can I do it? I'll die if I do it. So this fellow wants to work the next day, morning of his marriage, and she wants to go to Switzerland for like, 20, 25 days. So can you imagine the level of incompatibility they will have? So if somebody has four, find somebody who also has four, and with six also. If you have six, it is good if the other person also has six. But with five, especially, I have seen if both of them have five, they're very happy. They're managing their money. It's like, they won't tell anybody, but they have a big bank balance. You can see it very clear. I mean, I can see it as an astrologer. I don't say it, but if both the husband and wife has, then oh yeah, very good. They will keep telling others, I don't have money, I just have $200 in my bank, I wish if I had money, I would have gone, but they have big, huge stock investments, crypto and all this because they are pumping all the money there. That is why their bank account is empty. So a person who has six or four will also have an empty bank account, and a person who has five will also have an empty bank account. But the difference is the person who has like six, two, four, and all this, their bank account is actually empty. And a person who has five, their bank account is empty because they have real estate, they have, gold, crypto, bonds, this and that. That's why they have no money in the bank because the bank doesn't pay you interest. That's their reason why they don't keep money in the bank. So people who have these similar numbers, they can do very good. And sometimes it can happen. A person has five and the wife has six. It can be okay. So sometimes the wife or the other way around, if the man has six, he will be like, spending on watches, cars, and all this, And if the girl has five, then she'll be like, hey, why are you spending money? Hey, don't do this and don't do that. So it can also be favorable, but if it is like very extreme, then we need to balance out the energies because these are fundamental incompatibilities which cannot be changed and which can create serious issues. Like, I saw one article that 70% of the marriages are like the cause of divorces is money, basically. So I'm seeing the number five and number four, they are very important. So if both of them have four, it is excellent. And if both of them have five, it is excellent. Or you don't, none of them have five, none of them have four, then also it can work. Okay. But if one has the other doesn't, then there can be problems and we need to see then. And then if astrology wise, the upcoming 50 years are very good from a dasha perspective, then they will be criticizing, cribbing, and yelling at each other, but they will stay married. Okay, they will say, he's spending money, she's spending money. They'll keep criticizing. They'll call up their friends and say, oh, my life has become hell with this girl. She likes spending. I'm earning, she's spending. But because in astrology, their dashas are positive for marriage, they will stay married, but they will keep feeling this pinch all the time. Yeah, so I guess compatibility is like a very big topic, and there are a lot of things we can discuss. But at the end, it is all depending on just one thing, your horoscope and your upcoming dashas of 40, 50 years. That is the ultimate deciding factor. If that is good, everything is good. If that is not good, then other things become very important because then you have to see, if the married life is not good, then on the top, if their nature is also extremely opposite, then they will split in the first year itself. Yeah, that's all from my side.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you'd like to have this astrologer back on, and definitely check out the depth of information he has on his channel. I love you guys so much, and thank you again so much for watching. And if you guys like this and you want me to continue to provide this kind of content, please let me know in the comments below, and definitely let me know if you guys would like me to have him on again. All right, my beautiful darlings, I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys another day or two. Have a great rest of your next couple days, and I will see you guys soon.